So often, guys, to keep things fresh in my photography, I will go out and explore other areas. Go out and do the same thing in a new place so I can see what that place has to offer and keep my creative juices going. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to explore a small town west of Ann Arbor, Chelsea. And we're going to go out and do our normal street photography documentary, but explore around the town and learn things about it. See what kind of images I can get. I'm also going to do something new too and shoot only film today. We're going to shoot Harman Phoenix 2. Got my hands on some 35mm format and 120 format. So I'm going to be shooting a Leica MP for the 35, and I will be shooting the GA645 from Fuji for the medium format. And basically, again, for the sole purpose of getting out and finding a new place. The weather is broke, so it's a little brisk this morning. But we'll see how things go and see how I get along. And I'm bringing you guys along for the journey. So let's see how this experience is, and we'll see how I do with the film later. I'll do a little follow-up on how I feel I did with it and what I think about it. And then too, about my adventure, of course, and how you probably should do the same thing if you're running into a situation where you're bored, stuck in a rut with your photography. So let's get this drive going, because it's a little bit of a drive for me, and let's get to Chelsea and see what it has to offer. Hey guys, as you can probably see as I rotate around here and pivot up, I have the Jiffy Mix cornbread factory behind me. A nice little surprise already, just getting into this small town. Didn't know that was here, and I'm definitely going to make sure I can walk around, see what that's about, get some images. And then there's also a farmer's market I saw down Main Street. So it looks like what I'm gonna do, at least for right now, is definitely peruse down Main Street, see what images I can get. And yeah, let's go have some fun. Okay, so far I have to honestly say, nice little town, nice quaint little town. The major landmark, if you will, is definitely the Jiffy Mix place. But their main street is nice buildings, a lot of nice little quaint restaurants, a lot of farm specific name stores, and that makes sense because this is kind of out there for me. Little country, which I like. People are very nice. I've had nice interactions so far actually with some folks. They have the farmers market here is nice. So as I continue to walk around on the shady side of Main Street, I'll kind of take some more images with this film and then see what else I can get, and then go get it processed. Hopefully you guys are liking what you see. Again, this is pretty much me going out and scouting, exploring the area. I definitely would like to come back and do a tour of the Jiffy Mix plant, just because, I mean, you know, how often do you find something like that and it isn't too far from where I live, and can be able to see a little history of some of the food that I've eaten growing up, right? So let's get back to it and take some more images. I am 2 rolls in on the medium format. Just finished up the last roll, walking around this area, taking some shots and just having some fun. Talking with, again, the locals has been very nice. The people here are great, and the town is really quaint little town. So it is definitely on my list of places to come to and do some street photography. I could definitely see some potential here with all of the greenery around me, if, you know, with the trees, as the fall colors start to hit and help the background. That would be nice. There are a couple of buildings here with some wonderful architecture in it that I'm liking. I'm sitting here next at the old train station right now, enjoying myself. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed the images that you've seen. Of course, at this point, I have not seen any of the images. I have to finish up the second roll of film on the Leica MP. I'm gonna go over to the Rose Theater, which is also a landmark here, along with the Jiffy headquarters that you see over here in the background, and hopefully finish up this roll and then drop it off to go get developed. Hey guys, so I'm back to give my conclusion on my experience so far, my initial experience, if you will, using Phoenix 2. So I've seen some videos on YouTube of some other YouTubers using this film when it came out, and it gave me an idea, of course, what I was going to expect. I knew I was going to have a lot of blue saturation in this film. Same with Phoenix 1, with the red box, you had a lot of red saturation in there. That meant it was going to be a lot of cooler tone too, when it came to my blues, my greens, and stuff like that. Sure enough, in its film, definitely saw that. My warmer tones, the bricks of the buildings and things like that, a little bit more subdued, if you will, and I expected that. So no surprises in what I was going to get in the color, but I was surprised at the amount of grain that this film gave me, shooting it at its box speed. So, when it came to the blues, like the blue sky, the white of the Jiffy building, seeing how the grain showed in the blue, seeing how the blue in some of the 35mm film pictures bled over into the white was interesting too. I don't know if that's halation or not, but whites definitely had the blue hue on it, and in a way it looked like it was bleeding in it. When it came to my greens, like you see in the old train station, definitely pulled in that blue hue along with the trees and stuff like that. But the grain was very strong in a lot of these images. In those cases, it just bam, it's in your face. When it came to my darks, they held up pretty well, so I'm happy about that, because at least it helped with some of the definition of the image. And when it came between the definition and quality of the images between a 35 and a 120, the 120 in some cases is what I expected. A little cleaner, but not as clean as I was hoping it would be. Usually when I'm shooting my 120, still a lot more grain than I expected, and a little bit of muddiness than I expected. So if I had to choose between 120 and 35 for this film, they're both the same as far as I'm concerned, and what you possibly could get in image quality, because some of my 35s are just as good as some of the 120, excuse me, format. So all in all, when it comes to the film experience so far with this one, my experience with this is better than the first iteration for sure. I could see myself getting the 35 or 120 format and shooting this again on a bright day. I'm curious as to what it would look like as the trees and leaves starts to turn and we start getting those bright warm tones in the leaves, how that will play. Probably similar to what I see on the brick, but that would be interesting. Is this a film I would probably see myself getting the stock and have as an option? Don't know, because again, I like grain, but this is a little too heavy in grain for me, for my liking. So we would have to see. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about the images, what you see, the grain, the colors, and so forth. Is this something you guys would shoot? For me right now, it's still on the table. I just don't know how often I'll pull it off the table at the moment. So, but kudos to Phoenix for giving us something else to experiment. If I have to look at this and look at lomography, I would definitely choose this Phoenix 2 over lomography turquoise, lomography purple, because I actually like what I was able to get out of these images, and it not be just so overtaken by the effects of the film. So, all right, guys, that's everything on this one. I'll see you guys on the next video.